The story of Spiderhead, 2022. Spiderhead is a state-of-the-art penitentiary experimenting with the effects of research chemicals. The test subjects, technically prisoners of the state, are volunteers for the project aiming to reduce their sentence time. The program is overseen by the sympathetic and hospitable Steve Agnes, along with his assistant Mark. The prisoners have their own rooms, do chores, and are free to roam without guard supervision. The subjects go through daily test runs of various drugs, all of which alter their emotions and their perceptions of their surroundings. Inmate Jeff, still reeling from having killed his friend whilst drunk driving, is given N40, a love drug, which distorts his senses and drives him to have sex with two of his fellow inmates. Steve asks him to choose which one of them to give dark influx, a drug that induces intense physical and psychological pain. He declines to choose, claiming he feels nothing in particular for either one of them after the effects of the love drug had worn off. The next day, Steve tells him that the higher-ups have chosen for him and that the younger of the two women, Heather, must be injected with the dose, though it will only last 5 minutes. Jeff reluctantly agrees, and to his horror, Heather commits suicide while on the dark influx after she damages her Moby Pack, the device that administers the drugs. As Steve rushes out of the projection room, he drops his keys. Jeff unlocks Steve's desk compartment, discovering that there are no higher-ups. The prison is run by Agnes Pharmaceuticals. The drugs were named from a bingo card. Steve and Jeff get high together on a laughing drug, as Steve also has a Moby Pack installed. Steve tells Jeff that his father abandoned him as a child. Jeff confesses to Lizzie, an inmate he is close with, that he not only killed his friend in the car accident, but his girlfriend as well. Lizzie hugs him and they kiss. Steve notices Jeff's feelings for Lizzie. Mark becomes doubtful of Steve's motives, and he breaks down when Jeff confronts him. When Steve asks Jeff to administer dark influx to Lizzie, Jeff takes control of Steve's Moby Pack and forces him to admit the true goal of the program is to test a compliance drug, B6. The other drugs are merely side projects being used to put B6 to the ultimate test, whether or not they would harm their love. When commanded to the entire time inmates had been consenting to the various tests, they had really been under the influence of the obedience drug. Jeff forces Steve to open the door of the main entrance to free Lizzie, and then tries to order him to hand over the pocket knife. Steve resists and instead takes Jeff's phone and enables all 4 vials of dark influx in Lizzie's Moby Pack. The two fight for control and Jeff is able to disarm Steve, damaging his Moby Pack in the process. Jeff rushes to save Lizzie, successfully removes the vials of dark influx, and the two affirm their feelings for each other, but Steve gets up and orders the other inmates to apprehend Jeff and Lizzie. They are able to escape from Spiderhead after overpowering some of other inmates and locking the main door behind them. Mark and the police are now approaching the island as Steve escapes on his float plane, but he joyously crashes into a mountain as he is now high off of his damaged Moby Pack. Meanwhile, Jeff and Lizzie take the remaining motorboat and escape. In a voiceover, Jeff comments that self-forgiveness has to be worked on and chosen, rather than being easily curable.